Good morning, everybody. It's 8 o'clock, and we're just getting ready to start here in just a couple of minutes. I'll let people log on for a bit. I'm excited for what the Lord is doing in and through His people right now, and is in this season. It's a really good time. I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, but it's a good time for the Lord to be accomplishing what He needs to accomplish in us and through us, right? It's the year of restoration. So I know a lot of people kick back against this being restoration because it doesn't look like what restoration should look like in their minds. But wow, God is definitely on the move right now, isn't He? So just a couple of reminders while we're waiting for people to log in. Good morning, Becky. It's good to see you on here. It's today is Tuesday the 15th, which means that it's the 72 tonight. Good morning, LaQuinta. I'm glad to see you on here. I'm excited to get more connected to you. Derek, it's good to see you as well. Tonight is the 72, so 7 o'clock tonight at Zion's River or on all of our platforms if you're not able to make it to the building. And so don't miss out. This is part 3 of Pastor Jim's Maturing in the Supernatural. This has been so good, so deep, so wonderful. So it's challenging, it's chewy, but it will change your life. It will change your heart. It will change everything about you. So don't miss out on tonight, 7 o'clock. There's still room in the building, so go on to the app or the website and sign up. And if you can't make it, absolutely log in. Absolutely get connected to this word tonight. Amen. Also, this Sunday is our virtual candlelight service, so don't miss out on that either. If you need a box, we still have boxes available. So again, app, website, sign up so you can get connected to what God's doing on that night. It's going to be different. It's going to be weird, but it's going to be really cool, I think. So we have passed the deadline, I think, for mailing them to you. So if you are needing one to be mailed to you, I don't think that's going to work anymore, but you can most definitely pick them up at the building. And so, or if you are local and you can't get out, let me know and we'll do our very best to get a box to you as well. So don't miss out on that, right? Very cool. It's just an interesting time right now. So last Sunday, after services and after Discover and everything, we went up to Seattle to the Woodland Park Zoo to their Wild Lanterns exhibit. So it's their version of Zoo Lights. And we had a great time. We had the grandkids, and my mom was with us, and it was outside and social distanced and all the big words that we're supposed to use right now. The kids had a ball. They were just running back and forth between things. It's really cool. It's not very Christmassy in hindsight. As you look back, you're like, there's nothing really Christmassy about it, other than it's like glowing animals. But we had hot cocoa afterwards, so that makes it Christmassy, right? But we had a great time, and it was so fun to see the kids just running back and forth from the octopus of terror to that they decided everything was an animal of terror, which was kind of funny. There's the octopus of terror, then the dolphin of terror. I'm like, dolphins aren't very terrible, but it's all right. But what was really, really interesting is Sammy, 5-year-old grandson, Sammy would just randomly just run up to me and throw his arms around my legs and look up in my face and go, I love you, Grandma. And then he would bolt off. A few minutes later, he'd come back, run, throw his arms around my legs and go, I love you, Grandma. And he'd bolt off again. And this happened all night long. And the thing is that's the way Sammy is. He'll do that. He'll be sitting in the other room reading a book or playing his Legos or doing whatever Sammy does. And all of a sudden he'll just scream out, I love you, Mommy. And he's just, because he's speaking out of the abundance of his heart, right? He's speaking out of the abundance of love that he carries. He's speaking out of joy. Sunday night, he was overwhelmed. Having so much fun. I think it's been so long since the kids have been places where they can go and do. And so he was reacting out of the abundance. You know, in Matthew 12, Jesus is talking to the Pharisees and he's calls them a brood of vipers and all of that, and tells them that out of the abundance or out of the overflow of their heart, that is what their mouth speaks. And Jim and I were talking about how we notice that what people speak, what people share, is always the negative. It's always the hurt, the pain, the difficulty. And I'm challenged to say, okay, Lord, put a filter on my mouth, put a filter on my mouth so that I only speak out of the good abundance of my heart. But that becomes control rather than pure joy. It becomes control. I can filter my mouth, but that doesn't change what's actually in my heart. And I think that that's a struggle that we all have, to be able to say, not I'm going to force myself to speak kindly, but I'm going to be kind in my heart so that what the abundance of my heart, the overflow of my heart, is that kindness, is that love, is that, right? So all of this ties directly to Pastor Jim's message last Sunday. If you missed Pastor Jim's message, I'm telling you, I'm commanding you, you have to watch it. You have to get online. You have to see this message. It will bring you freedom. It will bring you joy. It will bring you healing. It will bring you everything that you seek that you can't seem to grasp hold of. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. Somebody, and they said they were watching and distracting themselves because they didn't, what the icky in their heart didn't want to hear the good that was coming out, because there's a freedom that's going to come there, and the enemy doesn't want us to live in that, right? He wants us to live in our pain. He wants us to live in our hurt. He wants us to live in our offense. He wants us to live in our darkness, so that the overflow of our heart will not be gospel, will not be good news, will not be joy, will not be peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, or self-control. The overflow of our heart will be unforgiveness and bitterness and anger. And so what I want you to do is I want you to look at, what do you speak? What do you write? What do you say? What do you even think, really? What do you say to people? How do you react to people? What kind of social media stuff do you put out? What kind of prayer requests do you put out? Are your prayer requests always about darkness, or are your prayer requests praising the Lord for what he's doing? Right? So I'm going to give you a recap, a itty bitty recap of Sunday's message, just to entice you to actually go in and to look and to sit down and to say, Lord, what is it that is holding me back from my healing? What place of freedom am I missing out on? Because what I'm holding in my heart is darkness, and that darkness is overflowing into every aspect of my life. We want the joy of Sammy. We want the love like Sammy has to overflow out of our hearts, where we're just randomly telling people that they're loved, that they're cared for, that they're free, that they've been reconciled already, that they've been forgiven, and all they need to do is turn to Jesus. And so it's that place of saying, Lord, cleanse my heart, right? Cleanse my heart and fill it with you, so that my overflow is Christ-like, that my overflow is the Spirit. So these are the power in forgiveness. See, last Sunday when Pastor Jim was talking about the key to healing, and we balk against that because we want to retain a place of power against people. We want to retain a place of righteousness, that I was hurt and I'm going to hold on to this pain. And we forget that there's so much power in forgiveness, that's what Jesus gave at the cross, right? So these are the 9 points Jim had. Forgiveness releases me from being God. I'm not in charge. I don't have to do that. God's in charge. So forgiveness, if I release the unforgiveness in my heart, it releases me from having to be God. I've seen the God job and I don't want it. It is a difficult, hard place. And so I choose to forgive so that you don't in other people's lives. Forgiveness liberates me from the burden of others' wrongdoing. Forgiveness provides opportunity for others to move into their destiny. Isn't that great? My forgiveness will give opportunity for others to be able to move into the plans and purposes that the Lord has for them. I'm not holding them back. I'm not putting pain or hurt on their lives. I'm not restricting who they are or who others perceive them to be. That's important. Forgiveness frees me to fulfill my destiny. I'm no longer a victim. I don't have to let somebody else have power over me. I don't have to walk in a place where I have to focus on this relationship right here. I can focus on Jesus and the people he's given me to, right? Forgiveness delivers me from being there's dysfunction. I'm just going to leave that one right there. Forgiveness elevates the cross to its rightful place in our walk with God. The cross is central. The cross is what we need. We need the cross. We need forgiveness. That's what Jesus said on the cross, right? Father, forgive them. They do not know what they do. We need that place of ultimate love and ultimate sacrifice. And so the cross gets put to the wayside if we think we have to control other people. So forgiveness elevates the cross to its rightful place. Forgiveness gives miracles the opportunity to flourish. See, we want to focus on the miracles. We want things to happen. We want all the sparkly stuff to go on. But if it's not in an atmosphere of forgiveness, those miracles are never going to flourish. They're never going to thrive. So forgiveness creates an atmosphere of joy. If you're holding resentment against someone, if you're holding pain against someone, you are not going to be joyful. So there's a good litmus test right there for you. Are you joyful? Do you have Sammy's joy? If you're joyful, then there's probably not a lot of unforgiveness in your heart. But if you are wrestling day after day with pain and hurt and offense and all of that, you are not going to have joy. So forgiveness creates an atmosphere of joy. Out of that abundance, then will your mouth speak. And forgiveness makes love real in my heart. I don't have to force love. I don't have to put restrictions on how I act or what I say to make sure I don't hurt people. I just am released to love. Forgiveness. I challenge you, like I said at the beginning of this, I challenge you, if you missed last Sunday, go watch it. If you saw last Sunday's sermon, watch it again. There is so much meat in there. There is so much freedom in there. There's so much purpose in that message. I absolutely love that Pastor Jim's sermon series about spiritual warfare wasn't about how to pray to cast out demons and how to do this, that, and the other. It was how do you get your heart in alignment with the Lord so that the freedom comes and that you stand in the place of who you are, who you're made to be, and we push back darkness by being the people of God. So, out of the abundance of your heart, out of the overflow of your heart, your mouth will speak. Look at your words. Look at your attitudes. Look at your actions. What is flowing out of your heart? If it's darkness, I pray, I beg you, get before the cross. Sit at the feet of Jesus. Hear his word. Be in his presence. Pray in the Spirit until that darkness lifts and the joy bubbles up. Amen? So, Merry Christmas. I pray that you are blessed, filled with joy, filled with freedom today. I pray that as you process through the places that you get to let go of this, I pray that God's joy just bubbles up inside of you and that freedom bubbles up inside of you and that the world will be changed because you said yes to Jesus. Amen. So God bless you. I love you all. Have a great day.